Well, Coach, you and I both about the same age. We grew up with the same dream. We always wanted to get to Rupp Arena for the Sweet 16. You were over in East Kentucky. I was in the 8th region. And the ultimate dream was to get to Rupp. And now for the second year in a row, you get that opportunity. You made it now to 5 Sweet 16s as a coach in the last, 8 years. So I guess the first question is, from all those dreams back in Elkhorn City and for everybody like me that did it all those years that wanted to get there, does it get old?
Well, I would just say that you don't get anywhere without good players. And we've been lucky enough to have quite a few of those. Our kids are sort of used to this being the expectation. And I'm not going to argue with that. And I think all high school kids dream of playing in Rupp Arena, boy or girl, because they know the history and the nostalgia that goes with it. And, we're lucky enough to be doing it again. This team and every team that's here, obviously, has had to overcome tons of things this year. But I'm just proud of the fact that we showed some grit and got through it. And, when you got a target on your back, it's a little bit harder. And our kids responded when they had to.
You mentioned the difficulty that every team had this year. Everyone knows after your game last year with Anderson County, the Sweet 16 shut down. Everyone wondered if they were going to have a season, what it was going to be like. There were COVID protocols. People had to shut down. Kids not in school, schedules, everything was in disarray. Talk about just what that was like, the difficulty that maybe people on the surface didn't see. But as a coach and running a program with these kids, what it was like to have a program, have a season during the craziness that this was with COVID-19.
Well, it wears you out. It wears you thin. The thing I would tell everyone is you weren't just worrying about what your kids' temperatures were when they were at practice. You were worried about if Aunt Susie had a birthday party and one of our kids was supposed to go to that, So the off the floor stuff was tiring. You didn't always get to set your own schedules. You may think that you're in a lockdown, not necessarily a lockdown, but a shutdown for so many days, and then you may find something else out that prolongs that for the entire group or for a group of kids that were together. It's been hard, very hard at Franklin County. But I would also tell you that I thought our kids, after we got out of that month-long thing, I think we spent 33 games or 33 days in between games. I thought our kids really made an effort to talk to each other about making sure that we got to finish the season and be ready to go for the postseason. And our goal, after that 14-day shutdown that we had, once everybody went through their protocols and stuff, was to not have to go through that again. And some teams had to do it 2 and 3 times. I can't imagine that.
It has been crazy challenging. Of course, you get South Laurel in the first round Wednesday, 5:00. So people can follow that. But let's talk a little bit about sort of you personally and this program. It's very much a family program. Your wife, Natasha, was keeping a book during district tournament. Your daughter plays for you. Your other daughter played for you. What does it mean for you, especially after the pandemic, to have it be a real family thing? I know it's all about family for the kids and the team. The team is always a family thing, but for you, it really is true family. Talk about that a little bit.
Well, I just think that, it's sort of all we've ever known. I tell people all the time, Natasha and I met at a softball game, and that sports is kind of all we've ever known, as a group, as a family. And then so many late nights and, she's getting ready to go get snacks for, kids in their hotel rooms and fruit and stuff for practice tomorrow morning, that a lot of people on the outside don't really see the behind the scenes kind of things. And in our, one thing we've always been blessed with at Franklin County is great parents. We've had so many people do so many things over the years. I think we were probably close to $3,500 in donations from the community to take these kids and give them a first class experience. And we probably raised that in 5 to 7 days. It's a way of life. And, our kids understand that we're going on vacation during the dead period because we can't go any other time. Even if there's a really good rate on that condo in Panama Beach, the first part of June, we're playing basketball, you're out of luck. So don't bring it to me and show it to me on, Airbnb or anything like that. So, but it's been a blessing. And, regardless what I do moving forward, with career wise, we've always been able to keep the entire pack together. So that's been a good thing.
You touched on it a few minutes ago, the expectation now at Franklin County. This is your 5th trip now in what, 8 years, to the Sweet 16.
Yeah.
Talk about 7 years. My bad. Joey always has to correct me on the. I'm bad on years, but five trips in 7 years is pretty good, Coach. But let's talk about the culture a little bit. That expectation. Mm-hmm. You got a kid like Brooklyn Miles now who has been around, it seems like, forever. She was back with that first group that was making this real run. What's been the change in the last 7 years to the culture to really get you to where you talk about that target? People expect you all to be in the running, if not winning, the 11th region every year.
Well, I think, it's sort of like the first time you see the ocean and the beach. Growing up where I grew up, you didn't always get to go to Panama City or Myrtle Beach every summer. A trip to Kingsport, Tennessee or Kings Island was like winning a Powerball, So, but, having said that, I think once you get to a situation where you see where the pinnacle is, your kids want to go back. And, I know we've played bad at times this year, but I almost think our kids were bored at times too. I mean, that's all on me really as a coach, but I think and one of my assistant coaches said it in a group message that we have with our staff. And he was like, they know what's coming. They'll be ready. And as a head coach, you don't ever really want to believe that, but these kids know what elite expectations are. And in society today, I don't know that we talk about that enough. And, everybody's goal that puts on our uniform is to play their last game in the Sweet 16. And it wasn't that way 10 years ago. Not that we didn't have kids that were not trying to do that. We just had never gotten to see the ocean yet. And once we went that first time, and Lord knows we took a butt beating down there in Bowling Green, the one time we got to go down there, our kids really responded and said, that's not going to happen again. And for the next 2 years, they played in a state championship game. And that's all that's all them. That's not necessarily me, but you have to have a taste before you can get used to it. And I feel like our kids have sort of passed down that expectation to one another.
Well, Coach, it's been a great honor for me personally, and I know the folks at the Plant Board, we've had that opportunity to kind of be on those runs with you in the years past, and we wish you nothing but the best of luck tomorrow, or I should say Wednesday, against South Laurel. And it does set up an opportunity. I know you're looking at game 1, but you get a chance maybe to avenge last year's first round loss in a second round matchup against Anderson County if you get to win. So I know a lot of people in the area will be paying attention to that. So I know you got to do first things first and get the South Laurel victory, but it does set up an intriguing matchup potentially in the second round.
It does. And, they're awfully good. And, I'm anxious to see how everybody plays after a week layoff between the regional tournaments and the state tournament. It is different with the girls playing second. So I'll be anxious to see how everybody sort of shakes the rust off in those first round games to see how it all plays out.
Coach, best of luck to you. We're all pulling for you. It's become an old hat, but as we said in the first part of this interview, it never gets old to have the opportunity to play for state championship. Joey Thacker, Lady Flyers of Franklin County, good luck to you. Fingers crossed for a run here and maybe cut down those nets in Rupp Arena, a dream we all want.
Thanks, Glenn. I appreciate you all and appreciate all the support of everybody in the community.